morning, guys. Just came on here this morning to talk about one of the other tools that we're giving away. Here is the JL3 flex psychrometer. You have a flexible probe, so you can actually, if you had to go into the supply or the return of the ductwork, you could basically use the magnet to strap onto wherever you need to, and then you can 90 it in. And that way the thing isn't going to fall out. You can select, what width you are away from, try to get the center of the ductwork. On the back end here, if you can see, and I'll show a picture later, there's a supply and return switch in the back. And actually, when you switch this, it actually changes the color. So right now we're on blue for supply and red for return. So when you hook this up to the JobLink app, you actually can see, it'll show up as soon as you link it up, what you should be reading. So let me just bring this up. Here's the Fieldpiece JobLink app. And turn it on. And then I should be able to go to air side. And I'll take a picture of this and I'll shoot it then. But you can see that it's actually starting to read on the return side. So I wonder what happens if I switch it midstream, like if it'll just automatically switch over to return. Actually, it did. So as soon as I switched it over from supply to return, it actually, switched it over. Now it shows you the dry bulb. It shows you the wet bulb. It shows you the relative humidity, obviously the dew point, because you have all the rest of the measurements. And then it also shows you the enthalpy. What's really cool about these is that you can actually, if you have a pair of them, you can actually see the efficiency of like how your unit is actually running, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, you can actually see if, you're getting the capacity that, in and out, versus off how much work the actual coil is doing. So if you guys are aware, this thing takes 2 AAA batteries. The expected battery life while it's running is about 150 hours. The light on the front here that's constantly blinking green will actually will start blinking red when the battery replacement is needed, so you'll know what's going on. It'll auto power off in 2 hours, so if you were to accidentally have it in your bag and leave it on, at least that way it won't drain the whole damn battery, and then you're not out that battery, right? I believe the range is yeah, that's right. It's 1,000 feet, just like all the rest of the Fieldpiece devices. So you can be 1,000 feet away. So you could have this thing strapped up to the split system that you're working on, and come downstairs and do all your measurements off the ladder, so you don't have to worry about falling. You do have the availability to graph everything. So with the JobLink app, you can select on what you're what you're trying to measure. So right now I just did the relative humidity, and you can see the blue lines just starting to go over right now. Same thing with the enthalpy. The delta T we can't do anything with, obviously, because we don't have 2 different probes. But if we had 2 different probes, we could definitely do that. We can show our wet bulb. We can show our dry bulb. So you do that. You do have all that availability, in order to measure this thing out. Now, this thing would be actually really good for supermarket refrigeration, because a lot of times, we get calls where there's moisture on the glass panes because of excessive humidity. So this is a good tool to use. You could essentially use it for discharge air. You could see what the dew point is and see to make sure that the unit is working efficiently, what it needs to be, or if there's any infiltration, right? Because if there was infiltration in the case, we would have more than excessive high humidity. So you can see what the humidity is, on one case that's not having a problem versus the other one, and make the decision whether it's an airflow issue or you have, air actually blowing into the case. I will list all the specs, so you guys can scope out, everything about this thing, what you can do with it. And I guess that's it, guys, man. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you later. Also, remember, guys, everything that we're making the videos for, we're giving away. You can enter to win by listening to the podcast. Listen to the 3 questions for the month. Every week that the podcast comes out, starting the first of the month, we'll be asking a question. You know the answer to that question. Send your answer to arpgiveaways@gmail.com, just like below right there. And then that way, if you get all 3 questions correct for the month, I'm able to potentially send you a brand new tool. Let me know. Keep listening, and we'll talk to you guys later.